Hey, how you doing? This is Craig Beck from stopdrinkingexpert.com. I thought I'd make a video today. A couple of emails that kind of cross over a little bit, so I thought I'd kind of kill two birds with one stone. So I had an email off Jackie. Jackie's a new member, and she's all excited. She's made that decision that she wants the attractively packaged poison out of her life. It's a fantastic decision, but suddenly she signed up and panic has set in because she has a big social function coming up this weekend that's been in the diary for a while, and now she's thinking, should I have waited? Should I have waited to get started? Because how am I going to avoid alcohol this weekend? Great question, Jackie. Going to deal with that in a minute. Now, Judy emailed me about a week ago. Her question is one of peer pressure, particularly her husband. I don't know any more details than that, but it's a common question. How do you deal with peer pressure? People just saying to you, go on, just have one drink. Be sociable. Come on. Don't ruin it for everyone. Just have one drink. Sounds entirely doable, doesn't it? You think, yeah, okay, I'll just have one to shut them up. But we only get one decision, and that is on the first drink. The second drink, it's not even our decision. The evil clown in our head that is alcohol addiction will make that decision for us. So let's deal first of all with that question of being social, having fun without alcohol. Is it even possible? Well, that whole question of, how do you go to a party and not drink is kind of based on a false assumption. It's based on the starting position that alcohol is required to have a good time. Alcohol creates fun. And it's not true. And that's a very Western world view of things. You go to parts of the East where alcohol is not a part of daily life, and they have the most colorful, most exuberant, most fun-filled parties full of dancing until dawn and amazing social occasions, and not a single drop of alcohol is touched by anyone. So it is an illusion that we subscribe to in the Western world that you can't have a party without alcohol. It is true that if you throw a party without booze, drinkers will declare your party boring. Did you go to Jackie's party? Man, it sucked. It was so boring. And it's not that the party was boring. It's just that drinkers are boring themselves when they can't drink because they're miserable. And they transfer that negative energy onto everyone else. So the thing is about alcohol, it claims to create fun, and it doesn't. What it actually creates is stupidity. And it just so happens that when you lower your IQ, when you bring your level of intelligence down, you find smaller things funny. Somebody trips over, it's hilarious. And I tell you what, I live in Cyprus, which is a Mediterranean island, population 700,000. A lot of British expats here. And I never ever hang out with British expats. And let me tell you why. Because they default to hanging around in bars. And they drink, and the conversation becomes inane very quickly. Someone says the word bum, and everyone thinks it's hilarious. Somebody farts, and it's the funniest thing that you've ever heard. It's either like being at a children's party or at some sort of tea party for chimpanzees. It's just inane nonsense. So they're not having fun, they're just being stupid because that's what alcohol has done to them. So what I want to challenge you to do is to go to your social occasion, Jackie, and you don't have to get through the whole night without drinking. I don't want you to think about it like that, because if you do, you're going to make yourself miserable and you're going to make this very difficult. All you have to do for me, Jackie, is get through the first hour without a drink. 1 hour. That's all you have to do. All right? But here's the deal. After 1 hour of the party, when you've watched all your friends and colleagues drinking solidly for 1 hour, I want you to look at them honestly with open eyes and tell me what you think. Have they become hilariously funny? Are they suddenly great company? Or have they become just a little bit stupid? Are they stumbling a little bit, slurring their words, repeating the same story over and over again, dropping things, going into little zombie modes? And after what I find personally is that when you turn up at a party, for the first half hour, there is a little bit of you thinking, oh, I feel a bit left out. I feel a bit, awkward, socially awkward. I wish I had something to take the edge off. But it only lasts about half an hour. And then after an hour, you look around and you see the truth. You see what alcohol has done to people who were previously super intelligent, very articulate, had great stories. Now, they're just less somehow. And I find that after an hour, I don't even want to drink. I just look around and I just think, this is sad. So have a go at that, Jackie. Don't put too much pressure on yourself and say, I've got to spend the whole night sober. Just do 1 hour for me and see how you feel. Now, Judy, talking about peer pressure. What do you do when someone else is in your life and they're encouraging you to drink? Well, the first thing to do is to understand why they're doing it. Because sometimes it can feel quite hurtful. You know, you've been to this very miserable, dark place. You're in a lot of pain. You're trapped in this desperate loop. And you make that powerfully good decision to stop. And then somebody who's supposed to love you comes in and trips you up. They're doing it not because they don't love you. Not because they want to see you fail. Purely because you are causing them psychological pain. Now, most of the time they are not even conscious of it. It is a subconscious emotion. You have raised your standards. And by doing this, you have highlighted their lower standards. Because all us drinkers know at the back of our head that what we're doing is insane. We know that drinking poison repeatedly cannot be good for us. And we also know, without consciously vocalizing it, that it must stop one way or another at some point. Either we're going to stop doing it or it's going to stop us living. And that little voice is always there, that we push it away. And so when you stop drinking, drinkers feel uncomfortable. And they probably can't put into words why they feel uncomfortable or why they need you to drink so much. But it's because you've raised your standards and highlighted their low standards. And at this point, they have a choice. They have two choices. They can either bring their standards up to yours and the pain goes away, or they can bring you down to them and the pain goes away. And guess which one's a lot easier than the other? This one. So they'll try very hard to get you to drink. Now, what us drinkers normally do in this situation is we laugh it off. And we lie. We make up little white lies. Because we feel a little bit like we're the odd one out. You know, we look around and we see the social proof of the whole world drinking poison for fun. And even though we know it's illogical and nonsense, we still feel a little bit like we're the weirdo. We're not the cool kid anymore. And so when people say to us, go on, have one drink. We tend to go, no, I'm okay, don't you worry about me, I'll be fine. Or, no, I'm on these antibiotics and I can't drink. No, we make up excuses that aren't real and we laugh and we joke and go, no. And actually we're far too lighthearted about it. And the reason we're too lighthearted is because we incorrectly label alcohol as this social pleasantry and not a harmful drug that kills 3 million people every year. Change the drug. Imagine you've told your friends, I've decided that I'm not going to do heroin anymore. It's been destroying my life and I've gone through 2 weeks of misery and I've got it out of my life. I'm now clean of heroin. Would you expect all your friends to go on, just have a little bit of heroin. Just have 1 shot of heroin. Oh, you'll be fine. Come on. Just to be social, have 1 shot of heroin. You wouldn't, would you? And in fact, if anyone observed that, they'd come over and say, don't be so horrible. How can you be so disgusting? This person's just got clean from a very powerful evil drug and you're trying to talk them back into it. What sort of monster are you? Wouldn't they? But that doesn't happen with alcohol. Everyone goes, go on, just have a little bit of have a little bit of the drug that kills you. It's because we live in this bubble of unreality. And so what I say to people is, you've got to be quite firm about this. Not drinking, living a happy, sober life has to be a part of who you are as a person. It's a part of your character. Like veganism. You know, if a vegan went to a party and they said, I'm a vegan, I don't eat meat, people would not go, just have a bit of ham. Just try a bit of ham. And if you did that to a vegan, they'd be very offended. They'd say, stop that now. I do not want to eat animal flesh. It's against my character. Don't do that again. You've offended me. They'd be very upset about it. And that's how you have to be about this. You can be polite. You can say no in a nice, kind way. But if people keep pressing you, you have to kind of show them you mean business. You have to draw a line in the sand. And if they keep pressing you, you have to say, stop. Don't do that again. I don't appreciate it. And I know that sounds aggressive, but you need that because they almost need to go, whoa, okay, they're serious. They need to understand that they've crossed the line because it's not funny. This is not a joke. It is not them that will be feeling the guilt and remorse that you will feel the next morning. And so I'm afraid you do have to lay it down on the line for them. And the good news is that you'll only have to do that once, twice max, because they'll get the message. And in my years of dealing with this, this is the only thing that I think really works. I've had people make up lots of excuses, lots of reasons. Designated driver, can't drink. But you can have one, just have one. Everyone can have one and drive. And you get into this, it can turn into a night-long argument. This passive-aggressive argument where everyone's smiling and nice, but there's an undercurrent of bullying going on. I had this personally at a Christmas party about 5 years ago, where a lady at the party was very offended that I wasn't drinking. I was put on her table for the meal and I wasn't drinking. And when she was sober, she was very polite and she was saying, just have one. Just have one drink. It's Christmas. And as she got more and more drunk, she started to get more and more aggressive until the point she came up to me, pointed at me, stabbed my chest and said, you're ruining this party for everyone. I said, how am I doing that? She said, you're not drinking and you're making us all conscious that we are. And she got very angry about it. But let me ask you a question. Who's got the problem in that situation? Who's the one with the issue there? Who's the one that's going to wake up feeling terrible the next morning? So look, you are the one on higher ground here, looking down. It's not the other way around, no matter what anyone says. So you've got to be aware of where you are in this social totem pole. And don't lower your standards because of peer pressure, because it's bullying. It's bullying by drug addicts. So stand your ground, lay it on the line for them, and you'll only have to do this a few times and then everyone will get the message. All right, thank you for watching. If you want the free book, Quit Drinking Without Willpower, go to the website now, www.stopdrinkingexpert.com. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you have any questions, drop me an email. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.